going, everyone? This is Precisely Podcast, a podcast about beer and video games. I'm your host, Bo, and with me, as always, we have my Tingle to my Link. How are you, Kelly?
I'm good. That was a good one.
Thank you. It beats Forklift to my Shenmue, which nobody would get.
Nobody would get it.
Unless you play Shenmue, of course.
No.
But yeah, how's it going with you?
It's great. How about you?
Good. It's nice to not have a guest for once.
Yeah, just the two of us. Just the two of us.
Making sandcastles in the sky.
Yeah, this is not a singing podcast. Thank God for that.
My wife would hate me. I make up lyrics all the time.
You were almost on point with that
Something like it, yeah.
Yeah. It was close enough.
Yeah.
We'll give it to you.
Yes. Thank you. So what you been up to?
Oh, really not much, actually. Just kind of relaxing, enjoying life, and not really doing anything.
You started work, though?
Yeah, I've been working, and that's draining. But, between that and keeping up with my booth, it's, that's pretty much all I do after work, and just rely on, caffeine and sleep to get me through it.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it's good times.
Yeah. Well, it got colder in the warehouse, so that's nice, too.
Yes.
I just saw you posted a picture wearing a sweatshirt.
Yes, I am wearing the sweatshirt right now.
Yeah, it's warm in my house, though.
It is a little bit, but it was cold in mine.
I saw that post, and I was like, she's going to take that sweatshirt off. She's going to roll up her sleeves or something.
They are rolled. They are rolled. But it's a very comfortable sweatshirt. I walked out of work today, and I was like, ooh, it is a bit chilly.
Yeah.
I was enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah, it was super chilly. It was raining all day today, so.
Yeah, that was no fun.
No, but I don't mind it. I went apple picking earlier this week.
I want to do that soon. It's feeling like it's time to do that. Yeah.
We went with my wife's mom and sister, and they didn't really give us direction. It's these huge field straights.
Yeah, that's where I go.
Yeah. And we realized, like the apple trees that are close to the beginning are all picked, and we're like, geez, there's one way up there, and they keep asking me to like jump and like pick the apple, which I was able to do on a few of them, but I'm like, that's too high. And then we just keep walking, and we're like, oh my gosh, all these trees have so many apples. Like, it's so easy to get them because nobody's like walking far, I guess, to get apples.
Yeah, a lot of people bring their kids, so they just go and like wagon them up for like the first couple trees, get a couple pictures, and leave.
And we did a corn maze, which was fun as well.
I love those.
And before that was my brother-in-law's birthday, Retro Insomniac. Happy birthday to you, man.
Happy birthday.
Him 2 Xbox light guns for his Xbox kiosk that he bought off me last year.
Nice.
And House of the Dead 3.
It's a solid gift.
Right?
Right.
And then like a Capcom versus SNK game. And I gave him my Halo 2 disc because I upgraded to a CIB.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. That sounds fun.
Yeah. So I'm excited to play that with him. Unfortunately, we weren't at his house celebrating his birthday. It was at his parents' house. So we were not by the Xbox kiosk. Yeah.
That's fun, though. I'm circling back, but did Strites have a pretty good selection of like variation of apples, or was it just like a bunch of the same kind of apple?
I think we got at least 3. So there was green apples, like, what are those? Granny Smiths?
Granny Smiths or the Golden Delicious.
Depending. I think they were Granny Smiths. I had one today and it was delicious. There was Fuji and Manzanita.
Oh, fancy.
Is that one? Or Red Delicious?
Red Delicious? No, I mean,
Is Manzanita Red Delicious?
Maybe. You're testing my produce knowledge.
It's like the Spanish word for Red Delicious, I think is Manzanita. I could be wrong, though.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've worked a produce department, so.
True that. I actually made a joke in front of my mother-in-law and my wife and her sister. They're like, what kind of apples are these? I'm like, just look at the PLU number. And they like all worked at Giant at one point, so they like laughed real hard, and I felt like a comedian. And,
It's always good when you're pandering to the crowd that's in front of you.
Exactly. I knew where they worked.
Local jokes get local folks, as they say.
So you want to talk about beer?
I do want to talk about beer.
We have
Falcon Punch.
Falcon Punch.
Yeah, there we go. This is, do you want me to read it off here?
Yeah, please, because
I have
you
the
have
can.
the can, yeah. We're splitting it.
Yeah, we're splitting this one. It is an IPA from Lucky Hare Brewing Company, which is like hair, Hare, not like the hair on your head.
Like a bunny.
Like a bunny. And it's got a little bunny rabbit in like almost like a Captain Falcon outfit, and he's punching the sky on the can. It's cute. And the ABV is 6.2. The can says pretty much just a little background on Lucky Hare Brewing Company.
Give it to us.
It says Lucky Hare Brewing Company was created like many other breweries in the basement with a homebrew startup kit. Since then, hundreds of batches of beer have been brewed to create the can you have in your hand today. We are a passionate beer drinking family striving to use the best local ingredients possible and hope that you enjoy this beer fresh and with your best friend or mom. Cheers. Well, I'm not your mom, so...
No, best friend.
Oh, thanks, man.
Cheers.
Cheers. But yes, they are out of Watkins Glen, New York.
Yeah, so my parents were just in upstate New York, and I told them to bring me back some IPAs. So they brought me back that. They brought me 2 cans of that and 2 other cans from them. They were all very good, but I had to save one of the Falcon Punches for the podcast.
Yeah. Makes sense. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a good pick. I mean, it tastes like a straightforward IPA to me. Like there's nothing fancy about it.
A little fruity.
Like a hint of it. I'm not like getting too much.
I just like the can art, I guess.
No, I like it. I mean, it's not a bad IPA at all. It's just seems pretty normal, I guess. Nothing crazy.
It's a little juicy.
A little juicy.
All right.
A little juicy.
A little juicy, but not like New England style. It's pretty clear in the glass.
And I mean, like for us, we do a lot of these weird IPAs.
Mm-hmm.
Like on the last one, we had the peach one, which was just like a punch in the face of peach.
I love that.
That was really good.
Yeah.
But like going from that to this is like, all right, this is just like an IPA. Like there's nothing special to me about it. Like there's no weirdness. So and I like that though. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I enjoy a good quality IPA.
And I was going to say that too. Like sometimes it's nice to just have a solid, good IPA.
Get back to your roots.
Yeah. Where you don't have to be like, what's that flavor? You know?
Right. Yeah. Like that one we had, and we were trying to figure out what the
profile was.
Yeah. It was weird. It was like grapey, but it wasn't grapes.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah. I forget the name, but yes.
Oh, the Jabba Tikaba one.
Yes.
Yeah, it was weird.
Oh, yes.
That was cool, though.
With the tree on it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So I was thinking I should hit up some of my brewer friends and see if they can design a precisely beer.
That'd be cool.
Or maybe we could like brew a beer with them or something.
Dude, I'd love to do that.
Wouldn't that be great?
I would love to be part of a homebrew because I have no idea what I'm doing. But like, if you just want to have me stand there and stir it for like a minute and like pose for a photo, no, I'm just kidding. I mean, I'd love to like give input on a beer like in the beginning stages one time. I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah. So when it comes to brewing, it's like literally 80% of it is sanitation and like cleaning and making sure things are sanitized. The brewing aspect of it is more of like a waiting game. It's just adding ingredients, stirring, and then waiting. Yeah.
I love the creativity that you have, like as I guess as any kind of brewer, home brewer, or like a professional brewer, you have the creativity to be like, today I'm adding more of this flavor, or I'm deciding to go out on this branch with this brew, like, and just take it to a whole different level and just like, it's like painting, but with a different media and like mixing it together and making some cool designs and like some cool artwork.
Yeah.
I think brewing is like art.
It really is. Once you like know it and you can use all your tools correctly, be like, well, I want this paint, AKA these hops from New Zealand.
Right.
And mix them with this malt from South Africa, you know, but I don't think most people do that. It's more hops will come like all around, but like malts, people try to use local malts, just because it'd be crazy to import such a cheap grain.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No,
like why would you in the sense?
And also like, you know, supporting your local area.
Exactly.
Too. That's good. Do you think that Bob Ross would be a good home brewer?
Yes.
Could you just imagine him home brewing?
What do you think his go-to beer would be?
It would have to be like an IPA.
No. He's
all about the happy trees.
True. I think he's more of like a blonde ale type guy, like
all right,
like basic, like smooth, like not like just like an easy drinker. Like he doesn't like hops.
No, he's not out to get smashed. He's definitely sipping one on the porch and enjoying the sunset.
He definitely drinks wine though.
Yeah, but like I just want to imagine him having a beer or creating a beer like he would create a painting on the TV. I want somebody to create a beer via the Bob Ross method. We're just going to add a couple little happy hops here.
That'd be great.
Little hops.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I would subscribe to that YouTube channel immediately.
Right? That'd be great. Well, let's get into the games that we're playing before we talk about the topics
Yes.
we're going to talk about.
Sounds good.
You want me to go first?
Sure. I mean, you have a laundry list.
Not much, honestly. Just like short little stints of things. Been playing more Moon, which is fun. Sort of getting to a point where it's like tedious and you have to like realize, like you really have to like plan out your day. It reminds me a little bit of Animal Crossing, where you're like, all right, now I got to do this today and like get here by this time to catch this certain creature or whatever.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah.
But it's also a game that you need to keep playing to know where to go next as well. But there's not really a time limit on things either, besides getting back to your bed before you die, before your love runs out more so.
Yeah.
I had last weekend, we had my brother-in-law, not on my sister's side, but my wife's side, brother-in-law and his 4 kids over. And my sister came over with her 2 kids and we had a big game night or game day it was. And I had all 6 of my kiosks running until the N64 one like crapped out on me. And we had the Switch and the VR running as well. And the kids were just having so much fun. I stayed in the kiosk room playing Super Mario Brothers U. Have you ever played that game? Have you ever played it with like 4 people?
I played the Wii one with 4 people, but I don't think I ever played the Wii U one with 4 people.
Very similar concept.
Yeah.
But so much fun. And it's so hard though too. But it made me be like, at one point we were like on World 3. Like we started from the beginning. We're on World 3. I'm playing with Junior, who's my brother-in-law. I'm like, my heart is pounding. Like after beating that level, he's like, dude, like we've been sitting here, but I agree. Like this is anxiety. We're just like, how did we get through that? And like his older daughter, who, you know, she was decent at gaming. She's like, I'm just going to stay back and let you guys do it. And if you don't do it, then I can make sure that you live again. Almost like how I played Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze with my wife.
It's good to have that clutch person just kind of hang out. That's how I play with my sister sometimes.
Yeah, but super fun. I think we got up to World 4 and like in a matter of 2 hours of playing.
Nice. Yeah.
It was so much fun.
That's a pretty easy game like to slide through.
Yeah.
With like, but it's fun by yourself or with others. I like that game a lot.
I don't see how I could play it by myself, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I needed the other people at certain points. Like we all got so good at like jumping into our bubbles. If we were falling off the level, we're like, press A and you like jump into your bubble and you can just like float to the person that's living.
And then they can pop you and you're good to go. Yeah.
It's a great party game though.
Oh, it is fun. Super fun.
Besides that, on the Game Boy Micro, which I posted about, I've been playing Drill Dozer and Yoshi's Island as well. And Drill Dozer, super fun game, but you're constantly using the R and the L buttons. And with the Game Boy Micro, with how small it is, man, you feel like a raptor claw. Like your hand just cramps up. Like I've been playing it at night in bed and I'm just like, this is too much. Like I'm getting through one level each night before I go to bed. And I'm just like, wow.
That feels like it would be a good one for the full Game Boy Advance.
Yes, absolutely.
With your L and your R.
Even
triggers.
the SP probably wouldn't be that good.
No, that one, I can see it cramping up. If it's cramping up on the Micro, it's going to cramp on that because it's a smaller, like it width-wise is smaller. It's just folded.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So either way, it's a fun game. Yoshi's Island. I was playing my buddy, who you probably know, iHogNot, Lou. I like asked everyone like, what's your relaxing game, go-to game? Because I was playing Breath of the Wild, which I can't get enough of Breath of the Wild. Like that's another game I've been playing and I just love it. It's just so good. I feel like I'm doing all these quests that I didn't do the first run on the Switch and I'm now playing it on the Wii U. And he messages me or comments on my post and he's like, Yoshi's Island. I'm like, how is Yoshi's Island relaxing when Baby Mario's crying all the time? And I was playing it on the couch and Kayla's watching a TV show and I had the volume up a little bit. She's like, what are you playing that a baby is crying? And she was so concerned. I'm like, oh, it's Yoshi's Island. And I made fun of him. I was like, yeah, it's not a relaxing game at all, but still a really fun game. And it's great on the Game Boy Advance as well. I almost think that the controls are better on the Game Boy Advance than the Super Nintendo.
Yeah. I have not played much of it on Super Nintendo, or I haven't played it on the Game Boy at all yet, but it is one that I would like to put some more time into. I played a little bit of the version that came out on the DS.
Oh, I didn't even realize there was a DS one.
Yeah, there's a Yoshi's Island for I didn't like it that much. Okay. So I think, and I don't, but I also don't believe
the same game.
Yeah, I also don't believe it's the same. It's like an accurate port or anything. Okay. It's been a couple years since I played it, but I like tried it because I was like, oh, Yoshi and cuteness, and
yeah.
It just didn't stick with me really well.
So I know with the Game Boy to the Super Nintendo version, they've changed a few things. I'm not exactly sure what, but one of the things that I do know is that on the Game Boy Advance version, you press the R to like shoot your Yoshi eggs. Mm-hmm. And with the Super Nintendo version, I believe you press like X, which just seems so foreign to do that. I don't know. Right. It just always seemed off on the Super Nintendo version for me.
Oh. Well, yeah, but the one on the Game Boy is the like Super Mario Advance, right? That's like the third or fourth I believe, iteration of it. Yeah. I have it, and it's I definitely want to play it. I just have not played it on there.
Right on. What have you been playing though?
Well, so I took a little break from Animal Crossing. I wasn't really playing it a lot. Yeah, I know. I didn't play for a couple weeks, and they're coming out with a Halloween update.
I saw that.
Yeah, I'm pumped about that. So I kind of mustered up the energy to I wanted to redo a lot of things because the way I did it the first time worked, but it's not how I wanted it.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Sure.
So I had to redo a lot of stuff, and it was just like, I was burnt out on it. I didn't want to redo it. I didn't want to devote that time. I just wanted to do my dailies and be done with the game kind of thing. I wasn't like in it. So I finally mustered up the courage to one day. I was like, it was a weekend. I was off, and I was like, I'm not doing anything today except playing Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
So I just sat and played Animal Crossing and just started doing these things that I want, these upgrades that I wanted to do. And I just kind of like fell in love with it, like it kind of rejuvenated like what I was burnt out on. And so now I'm like creatively inspired to do a lot of different things. And with the update coming up, it's going to open up a lot of different options for me to like make a pumpkin patch and stuff like that. It's going to be super cute. So I've been like revamping it.
So you're still on the same island, or you started a new file?
No, okay. I'm still on the same island. I just was like terraforming and moving
the trees and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can move the houses on it.
You can move the houses. Okay. You can move the land and the water.
That's cool.
So I was like doing stuff like that. So it's I was creatively inspired and decided to get back into that. So I've been doing some of that. Are
the people that you were playing with, are they still playing? Did you see that?
Like friends or?
Yeah, friends. Yeah.
Yeah. My friends still play. And like my one friend, her dog stepped on her Switch, so she had to send it to Nintendo to get fixed.
Oh my gosh.
So it was a Switch Lite, so it was like the one Joy-Con was messed up because the dog stepped on it, and then she had to go send it off to get it fixed up, but they couldn't just send the Joy-Con because it's a Lite. So she had to send her whole system.
That sucks.
So she didn't have her Switch for like 2 months, and she just got it back. So she's like, let's play Animal Crossing.
How much was that fix?
I think she got it free because she was like, it's a Joy-Con drift issue.
Wow.
So she kind of pulled one over on him.
Because I know my coworker, she had to send her Switch in because it was not charging at all.
Oh, interesting.
And it cost her like $120.
Really?
Yes. But isn't that crazy?
That seems like an issue that wasn't her fault. You know what I mean? Like,
it sounds like it wasn't. Like she bought like a
machine.
Like she bought a new power adapter, power cord to test that out. She bought a new dock to see if it was the dock's problem, and it wasn't any of it. Wow. It was just the actual Switch itself.
It's a faulty machine. Yeah, and I would have hoped that Nintendo would have, owned up to that.
Yeah, and I mean, she sounded fine with sending it to Nintendo and getting it properly fixed. Yeah,
I would if an issue ever arose, I would much rather send it to Nintendo and trust them to fix it and wait, the 2 months or whatever, rather than send it to like some weird company and try to get it done in like a week.
And try to get it like even back.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and then you're voiding your warranty probably.
Send it to Jeff on Craigslist. And
Right.
He's like, yeah.
Let me get you a bunch of Fortnite coins for free.
Yeah. And not send you the Switch. Like send you like an Android tablet back. And you're like,
the Switch from Wish.
Yeah.
It's just like a printed out picture of a Switch.
Oh God.
Ugh.
I hate that.
But yeah, so Animal Crossing, and then I don't know if you saw, but Nintendo Online on the Switch got an update where they added a couple new games to the Super Nintendo category.
I did not.
Well, Donkey Kong Country 2 is on there.
Oh, cool.
So I was playing some of that.
Can we play that then together?
I don't know if we can play it together.
I think we should be able to. I believe
in the same room, yes, but online, can we?
I played other multiplayer games online. Like Super Mario World, you can.
I never tried playing Nintendo online.
Yeah.
Online. That sounds really stupid. Yeah, no, that sounds great.
I really hope they do Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
I'm sure they will. That seems like a title that's in high demand.
It'd be the ultimate game to play online. It'd be so much fun.
I hope they put Turtles on there too. That'd be great.
And then make it also the arcade port where it's 4 people, which
leads me into a correction. Thanks for teeing that up. So, long ago in a galaxy far, far away, somebody...
Last podcast.
Yeah, but last podcast we were talking about...
Oh, yes. Okay,
We were talking about how the Super Nintendo had a port, or like extra ports, you could have 4 players. And we were talking about Super Bomberman, and I blurted out something that I had heard years ago, and it was that Turtles in Time is compatible with this. You can have all 4 turtles, and I was always so excited about this, and it was
on the multi-tap.
Yeah, it was the whole reason I wanted one, and I never bought one, but it was the whole reason I wanted one because I could be like, this is the arcade, yay. Turns out that's not true, and I lied, and somebody lied to me. So for whoever tried it and was severely disappointed when it didn't work, I apologize. And I didn't mean for that to break your heart too much because it broke mine too. But I guess whenever I found that out, whoever told me was misinformed at one point. So I'm sorry for spreading lies.
We're sorry.
It won't happen again.
Yeah.
I won't just blurt out things that I've heard.
But we also appreciate any one of our listeners to keep us on our toes and actually like do the research themselves, because this person was like, I have a multi-tap. I have this game. I want to see if it works. And it didn't. And he's like, can you tell me why? we're both like, no.
I have no idea.
No idea.
Yeah.
And then he was like, also Bomberman doesn't work 8 players.
So we were just like a tub of lies last podcast. So, because we were just talking on that one part.
You know what?
It was a good time.
We drink on this podcast. So sometimes,
Yeah.
We just talk shit.
Things get passed down. I'm sure that some information is incorrect that I've learned besides that. And I'm sure I'll say it again and somebody will have to correct me. And then I'll learn. And I love learning. So I'm happy about it.
So yeah, shout out to MKN_retro gamer for calling us out.
Thank you for that.
And thank you for listening to all of our podcasts and actually listening and trying out what you've listened to.
Yeah, that's cool.
Call us out.
I like that. I like that we've inspired you enough that you can do it and then call us out about it.
I'm pretty sure though, Bomberman on the Sega Saturn though, you can still play at least 8. Maybe 10.
There is I know in my heart of hearts somewhere, there is a Bomberman you can do like 8.
Well, actually, the Bomberman that came out on the Switch, you can do 8 players with 8 Joy-Cons.
Maybe that's where I'm thinking of it.
No, you can do it on the Sega Saturn as well.
Okay.
But that's the cheaper version.
Right.
If you want to do 8-person Bomberman, it's fairly easy.
Right.
You just need 8 single Joy-Cons.
Yeah. I mean, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
And why not?
I'd be down. Our buddy, We Deem Channel, my FedEx driver at work, he was like, I'm totally down to do Bomberman with you guys. I'm like, all right.
Right on.
So
we're collectively getting there.
We're at like, 4 people out of the 8?
That's half of it.
Yeah.
That's half of it. We've half of them. We're good.
Exactly.
We'll make it.
So I wanted to ask you,
okay,
what do you think about the pre-orders for the PS5 and Xbox Series X? They sold out so fast, and I'm sure, honestly, half of the sales were from resellers. Yeah, what do you think?
It's a clusterfuck, man.
Yeah.
I think that it kind of goes with every new console that pre-orders suck. Like if you think about the Switch, when the Switch came out, pre-orders sucked for the Switch. Like people were like, I'm going to get it. And then they didn't get it. Or, you know, like I don't think it was as bad as this, but like still every time a new console comes out, it sells out of pre-orders because it's got this hype behind it. And it's backed by a company that you know and trust. If it's PlayStation, Microsoft, or Nintendo. So you've got these huge giants competing, and then you've got the population being like, I want it all, capitalism. So they're just going to buy all of these pre-orders up because they're either going to buy it for themselves or they're going to buy it to resell it, which you said, like there's a ton of people who had bots and stuff working for them because they know they can make a quick buck on it once the release comes around, and we're probably still in quarantine and nobody has anything to do.
Yeah, especially with video game sales rising, which we'll be talking about later. I think that's what it was. People, you know, see an opportunity that, hey, video games are the hot shit right now. Like, I might as well try to get as many of these systems that I can.
Yeah.
Because someone's going to buy them for more than the retail value.
A lot of people who had bots for like sneakers or stuff like that were switching over and using their bots for like pre-order for the Xbox or the PS5 because they knew that they can make a quick buck off of those like they can their sneakers, and they probably don't even care about video games that much.
Yeah.
You know, so it's wild that you had competing people who are just looking to make a buck off of it, and then you have the people who actually give a shit and are like, I want to have this on day one because this game is coming out that I really want and I want to be able to play it.
Yeah. I wonder how many pre-orders there were of like each system, like of the one with the disc drive for the PS5, the one that's discless.
I think what I saw when I wasn't super invested on once they released the titles, a day one purchase. The only thing I would have thought about a day one purchase on was if Ratchet and Clank was going to be a launch title on PS5. Yeah. And that was even iffy for me because it's just one game. So I wasn't sold on buying anything to start out with. So I wasn't really invested, but I was watching it happen. And it basically looked like they made more of the discless systems. They made more of the digital systems. Is what it looks like. They released more pre-orders, or they had more systems of the digital because I guess they're probably trying to push more digital systems like with Xbox Game Pass and things like that. They're trying to push towards a more digital age instead of these discs, which, you know, we love to collect. So I think what I saw was that those pre-orders were more just because there were more units available, like generally. Like I know in person, I think when people were going to GameStops on like the day of release and looking, and it says on the board, like on the wall or whatever, like we have 5 units available of the disc version and we have 10 versions available of the discless version. You know what I mean? So like there were more available to pre-order. So I think that those ones sold more just due to the fact they created more of those.
Okay. Because I almost thought, at least for the PlayStation, that they had more disc versions, but they sold out faster because people want to have the physical game still.
Right. I mean, I think all of them, I couldn't tell you if they sold out quicker than the other because I wasn't watching it like second by second.
I could have bought a discless one at GameStop and I opted not to because I'm just not a digital person.
Right.
Yet, you know?
Yeah, I think that the digital ones hung around a little bit more, but I think ultimately they got bought up, like, because everything's sold out as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. So they put more on the market, but they might have sold a little bit quicker or a little bit less quicker than the ones that had the discs.
I think Sony especially wants to be nice to all the people that have sold their systems, like Amazon, Walmart, Target, GameStop, to be like, yeah, we're making way more disc versions, and this way you guys can have our games in your stores still.
Yeah.
Because as soon as it's all discless, all those stores are not selling video games anymore.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at the fact that GameStop's closing like another 400 stores this year. It's ridiculous.
Where's your kiosk at? GameStop, hit me up, yo. You know my number. At least 3 of you know my number.
It's in your system.
It's on your computer on a post-it note.
You just slide it under the door. Please send me your kiosk.
I've definitely creeped out some GameStop employees being like, hey, when that kiosk, when you're about to throw it out, can you give me a call? Here's my number.
Hit me up.
They're like, okay, bro.
Yeah, no, that whole thing was wild though. Like just watching it from a distance was like being at like, you know how like when they were talking about atomic bombs and you were supposed to be at like a thumbs up away from an atomic bomb.
What?
Have you never seen that? It's a whole reason the Vault Boy has his thumb up in Fallout. So like when nuclear war was happening and you could like look and if it was covered up by your thumb, you were fine. Supposedly. Okay. That's what I feel like watching the pre-orders was. Like I was a thumbs up version away from all the pre-orders, just watching the chaos enfold everybody and just like watching everybody be like, they're up, they're not up, they're up, they're not up, they're up.
Yeah.
And I was just like, holy crap, I don't have the attention for this.
Yeah, so honestly, after they all sold out, like I wasn't going to get an Xbox either way because I've just always been a PlayStation fanboy more so. I was like a little FOMO and I was a little like, meh, like this sort of sucks. And then I realized, no, it doesn't because we don't know how it's going to be yet. Like it might have a lot of flaws. Like think about like when the 360 came out, like they were all like junk. I believe like 90% of them had to be returned because of the red ring of death.
Right.
Within like the first like 3 months.
Yeah.
You know?
And even recently the Switch with the battery life, it was less on the launch models.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. If you have a launch model Switch, there was a chance that you have a lesser battery life than any of the newer ones. Like just generally, like the battery was dying quicker than newer ones. So I that first console always has, the first generation of the console always has like an issue.
Yes.
You're working your kinks out, which is fine. I expect that, you know, like it's trial and error and sometimes things pop up and you don't know that until you get users on it. So
yeah,
it's going to happen. And, you know, you always hope it doesn't, but it's going to happen. And I hope that like when that second wave comes through, it's going to be around the holiday season, probably because, you know, they're going to have more units for Christmas and everybody's going to want it. So
do you think they will by then? Because when's the first wave? November something?
I think they have some. I think they probably have some stashed. Like it would be the stupidest move on any retailer to not provide a product for Christmas.
Well,
it doesn't matter what it is.
It's not the retailer; it's the manufacturer that might not have it to
right, and that would be
supply the
that would be absolutely
retailer.
Stupid if they don't project themselves into the Christmas season with the supply that they have. They have to. Like, if they don't, they are missing out on so much money, and I don't feel bad for them for that if they're that dumb. Like,
so I feel like for sure Xbox will have both systems for Christmas, but I don't know if Sony will. Honestly, by then, I don't know.
I would hope that they do. I'll leave it at that. I hope that they do because it would be a real loss for Sony if they don't.
That's a good beer.
Should we talk about our second beer here?
Sure.
I crack mine.
I definitely want to go back to talking about PS5 though. And why I don't care about buying it right now.
All right.
So I just cracked open. Oh, it's weird. Flying Laser Beams. It's an India Pale Ale from a local brewery called Pizza Boy. Right down the street from us, essentially.
Very good.
Try it. It tastes like laser beams. The aftertaste.
Tastes like the laser beams.
It does. It's weird.
If I was in a roller rink, this is what it would taste like.
It's like laser beam shooting in my mouth.
Okay.
What do you think?
Another 6.5 like IPA. Nothing else on the can about it. They're not very fancy with their can, like not very wordy with their cans, I should say.
They're 16-ounce cans, and at the beer distributor that I bought it from down the street from my house, she's like, "Oh, Pizza Boy. Must be a Pizza Boy because it's not scanning right." Like she couldn't use the scanner, so she had to type it in. She's like, "Oh, this is a cheap one." I'm like, "How expensive is it?" She's like, $11.49 for a 4-pack. I was like, "Yeah, that's actually decently cheap for a 4-pack. Not bad.
No,
it's good."
Do you taste like a smoky flavor?
Yeah.
Because I do.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Is that the smoke from the laser beams?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like flesh is burning somewhere.
I hope nobody's flesh is burning.
Not like human flesh, like pig flesh. I don't know.
No.
Smoky though, like beef jerky-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. And the first sip, I was like, that's weird. That can't be right. And the second sip, I'm like, no, that's definitely there. That's definitely there. It's interesting.
Yeah. I wonder what they brewed it with.
Laser beams.
Yes. Definitely.
That's how they like heated the kettles and everything, was with laser beams.
Yeah. So back to the PS5. Also, I don't mind because the games that they're coming out with right at launch, I don't really care about any of them. So why buy a game that's probably going to be $70 too, physically, is what they're saying as well, which I'm okay with. That's fine. Like, things need to inflate in this world when it comes to pricing, but why buy a game that you don't necessarily want to play right away with a system that you don't need because there aren't games? Also, I have a 1080p 60-inch TV. I feel like I would need to upgrade to a 4K TV, and I probably should have done that for the PS4 as well, but I didn't. And it still looks fine, but it probably won't look that great or that much better than my PS4 on a 1080p screen.
Yeah, that's my problem too, is I have a similar issue where mine is 1080p as well, and I probably should upgrade to a 4K eventually,
Should we though? Like, I don't know. Should we?
I mean, I probably won't for like another 5 years, but like, with the newer consoles coming out and they're all 4K, rendered and ready to go, like, am I really missing out on a lot because I don't have a 4K TV? Like, am I missing a whole other depth to this game? Because I don't just play the game to play the game. I play it to enjoy all of it. I enjoy soundtracks. I enjoy the art and the whole thing. It's not just about the story. It's not just about the gameplay for me. So am I missing something that I should, like?
Well, it would just be the visuals, but yeah, I mean, that's
no, but like, does it add that other layer to it? Right. So I don't know. I mean, that also doesn't drive me to want a day one purchase either, is because I don't have 4K. Like, it doesn't make sense, to do that. And there's not much, all these, and I'm pretty sure they said most of the games that are coming out are going to be on the PS4 as well anyway.
Yes.
So if you really wanted to play the game,
which always happens,
you could just buy it for your PS4, which you already own.
And for the whole next year to 2 years, they'll all be out for the PS4. Granted, like, I know Cyberpunk developers were saying, like, I don't know if they were saying it or other people were saying it, but the speculation is that it's not going to run well on a regular PS4. Like, maybe PS4 Pro will run okay. But like, I have a regular PS4 and I don't know. I've ran other things on it, like The Witcher 3, which they made. It ran fine. Like, I don't like lagging, like, unless it's like a really hard lag or a really, really long loading screen. I've grown up on retro video games. I'm used to that. Like, when you're playing 4-player Mario Kart and the screen is clipping real hard because you guys are all drifting at the same time and shooting out, shells, it goes really slow.
Yeah.
But it also makes you be able to react better and time things right too. Like, even in a shmup, shoot 'em up, like, when it clips and lags, it's okay because it sort of helps you. Like, but if the loading is, a minute long to get to the next screen, I'll be a little pissed. But like, I really don't care about all that. Like, the text of it, like, it just is what it is. Like, it's a big game. I understand that.
Yeah, I think our generation can get that because we grew up playing games that had loading screens.
Yeah.
Whereas the newer generation gamer is growing up without loading screens. And so this market that's driven towards less time loading is more it's for us too, but it's more for them because they're used to an instantaneous play.
Yeah.
Whereas we're like, man, I used to sit through so many cutscenes and so many loading screens and so many, like, just times where it was just glitching out and I was hoping it would come back so it didn't ruin my save file or whatever, we're used to waiting. I think it's a little bit more instantaneous for this generation.
I mean, and the only game that didn't really have any waiting was God of War, the newest one for the PS4. And my God, it was amazing. you know, but when comparing that to any other game, there wasn't anything else like it, you know, so maybe all PS5 games will be like God of War in the sense, but they created a game that had loading features while you were still playing. It was still loading things while you were still moving, that it didn't seem like you were in a loading screen. Like it didn't just black out on you being like loading.
Yeah. It's like the loading tunnel in Tony Hawk's American Wasteland.
Yeah.
They tried it so hard, but it was obviously a loading screen.
Yeah. So the other thing, I have two more things about the PS5 on why I don't care that I didn't get the pre-order. The hard drive's only 820 gigabytes.
Yeah, it's not a lot.
It's not a lot. Like my PS5 right now is 500 gigabytes, but then I have a 2 terabyte external hard drive for it. So I have like 3 times the amount that the PS5 is going to start off with. And Sony doesn't know exactly what hard drives will be compatible with it.
Right.
Because they're solid state hard drives. So it's like, you don't know what to buy then, and it might not work. And solid state hard drives are so expensive.
Right. I mean, they work. They're a
great,
good drive. Yeah. Like that, I obviously get why you would want to use that. I understand. But I agree with the unknowings about, because I have a external hard drive on my Xbox as well. I think it's like a terabyte hard drive, and I have, I think, 500 gigs on mine. And so I am like, I needed that because I don't have a lot of digital games, but I have a couple that I would get from Gold. And then your save files, I mean, like, God, like Red Dead Redemption 2 is such a huge fucking file to download. It's like 60 gigs for like one game, like 2 discs. Yep. And then like multiply that by how many games you want to own. And like, just as a baseline, that's insane for how much storage you need. And then to not know what to buy before you get your system, it's kind of insane. I would definitely want to know, like, oh, I can buy this, and I would feel more comfortable waiting for that to go on sale, or knowing that that's what I'm going to buy eventually, rather than sitting there and being like twiddling my thumbs until Sony says, okay, you can buy this.
Yeah.
So I get that.
So what I've heard is that 2 of the games that are coming out on release date will take up that whole hard drive.
Yeah, I would
That's
imagine
nutty. That sucks.
Yeah, I would imagine that you will waste most of that hard drive on one game.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So good luck with everyone that bought the new PS5.
Yeah.
The only other thing that I was going to say is there might be a new Nintendo Switch that's coming out. A Nintendo Switch Pro.
Did see that, yeah.
And that makes me even happier that I didn't get an Xbox or PS5 pre-order, because I'll get that fucking Nintendo Switch Pro that might be as good as a PS4 graphically, might even be as good as a PS5. Nobody knows. Nintendo likes to release things right away where there aren't really pre-orders, because it's not a new system. It's just, hey, here it is. Here's a 2DS XL. Go buy it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What if the Switch Pro has 2 screens?
Ooh, what if it's a DS but with Joy-Cons?
Oh my God. What if it has 4 Joy-Cons and it folds into itself?
What if you make an origami bird out of the Switch every time you fold it up? No, I'm excited to see the future for gaming. I always am. And if you got a pre-order, congratulations. Good for you.
Yes.
I'm happy for you if that's what you wanted. And, I can't wait to hear everybody's reviews, but I'll just be sitting in the back cheering for everybody else until that price drop or they start releasing games that I actually really want.
Yeah, I agree. So our topic tonight is collecting to investing. When's the best time to sell? I bring this topic up because prices have gone up like crazy on certain games or for certain systems, whereas other game prices have stayed the same. I think with the pandemic, we have seen an overall increase in video game prices. I equate this to people being stuck at home, trying to get their mind off the current situation and what's better than playing video games. I also believe that most people got paid more than their usual pay and had more disposable income. And I think more people are joining the hobby every year when it comes to collecting, because younger generations are growing up, getting better paying jobs, and have more money to blow on nostalgic items. Also, people are seeing that there's money to be made in this hobby. Some people have endless amounts of space, want to collect for every system, and go for complete sets. And others, like me and Kelly, have a limited space to showcase our collection, and we are constantly buying and selling to upgrade the games we have or sell off the games we know we will never play to acquire ones that we want to play. So we want to give you guys some of our advice for buying and selling video games.
Yeah, man. Summed it up.
Yeah, pretty much. So number one that I have, buy the things you expect to be hot tomorrow. Don't buy what's hot right now. I mean, this is like a simple thing to think about, but a lot of people, I feel like in this community, have FOMO. And when they see someone else have this great game and they look up the price and they're like, God damn it, why is it more than market value? Or, you know, like, why isn't this $60 game, like, why is it $100? I still need it. You know, Don't buy it then. Just wait. Like, just keep checking prices. Like, we all have so many games in our libraries already, in our collection, that just like enjoy the games that you have also.
Yeah.
And just keep going back and like checking the prices, because it can go down over time.
I think this is where patience is a virtue comes into effect.
Yeah.
It's definitely, this is not a hobby for somebody who is looking to do something quick, who is looking for instant gratification in the fact that, like, boom, here's a whole set of N64 games. If you have the kind of money to blow on that, by all means do it. But I feel like you should invest that money in like different things. But that's just me personally. This is a hobby that I like because it takes time. It takes an effort. It takes a lot of research, and it's really an eye-opening hobby too. Like, when you collect, like you said, like what's going to be hot tomorrow, not what's hot today. You have to kind of almost know the market before, you know, you do. So like when you're getting into it, it's hard. Like I remember when I first started getting into buying and selling games to help supplement, it was hard to pick what's the game that's going to sell because I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like I was so fresh to it. And now I got about 5 years of buying and selling under my belt. I can tell you, oh, that game's not going to sell tomorrow, but this one will. Yeah. You know, like, so I can see now I have an eye for it, but that didn't happen overnight. Like I said, like these are things that take time and you need to mold and you need to grow and learn. So if you're willing to put in that work, this hobby is going to be very fruitful for you.
Yes. And that's if, you know, like, let me go back one step. All this advice is if you want to sell video games and make a little extra income off of it. Like to Kelly and I, we have to because we constantly are buying video game lots and we don't have the space for it. Like we want to curate our favorite games ever. And it's even games that we don't have yet or even know about, but we still want them in our collection in the future. So once we do know about them and we have the money for them or find them in the wild, we want to acquire them with the money that we've made off of other video game sales. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. I have a job where I'm comfortable in living and I'm comfortable in spending money on a hobby, but I don't have money where I can go spend willy-nilly. Like I have to be careful with my spending. So this is a way to
circumvent.
Still do my hobby, but also pay it back into it.
Yes.
You know, like all this money that I make from it, it goes right back into, it's not like I go out and blow it at a casino or something. No.
God, I hate gambling so much.
It goes right back into this stupid video games.
Yeah. As it should, though.
No, 100%.
Like the money that I make at my full-time job goes into my mortgage. It goes into my bills. It goes into the dinners that we eat and all that. You know, the money that I make off of eBay sales and Instagram sales of video games, that goes right back into buying and selling more video games. Yeah. You know, it just makes sense. I want at the top of this, while we're saying it, I feel like it should be said, obviously we're not financial advisors or anything, but please, if you are in this hobby and you are spending your hard-earned money on the video games before you're spending it on your mortgage or your meals or your rent or the care for yourself or others who may live with you, be it pets, family, significant others, etc., please reevaluate. That's the nicest way I can say it, but reevaluate and please take care of yourselves first before you start buying video games, because these are not life. They will be here. Get yourself set, get yourself ready. Like I said, it takes time. It may take you a couple months, get yourself financially set and then dive back in. Yeah.
That's very important. I don't want anybody like going broke over a hobby that it just doesn't make sense.
That's all it is a hobby too, that you can make money off of. And at the same time, it's a very easy thing to jump into with a low amount of money to make endless amounts of money. Honestly, if you do the right things, if you go to the right sales, if you wake up early and you're out there hustling. Yeah.
If you have the drive for it, it's there.
You can definitely make a good living, honestly, off of it. I know people that don't actually have full-time jobs. They just go to yard sales all day and buy and sell.
That's the dream.
I guess. I don't know. It's not my dream. That doesn't give me health insurance, so I'm still working a full-time job.
That's very true. That's super true.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Right.
That's a whole other podcast.
Why you should have a full-time job because of health insurance.
Or why health insurance shouldn't be so expensive.
Fuck yeah. God damn. Yeah, let's start that podcast.
Oh, I think
just name it that. Yeah. So going back to buying things you expect to be hot tomorrow and not buying things hot right now. So, for example, one thing that I started buying right in the beginning that caught my eye was these not for resale cartridges. I was like, what are these? Oh, these come from kiosk systems. So the majority of my not for resale cartridges are Nintendo. They are cartridges and not CDs. So it's like they're all physical items, but you don't need like a case for them, mainly because they usually don't come with a case unless it's like a bundled deal where that's not actually a kiosk cartridge. It's coming in with a system. So the Game Boy Advance games that I have that are not for resale, I have like Pokemon Emerald, I have Yoshi's Island, I have Mario Land 3, I have Minish Cap, all those. They were all for kiosks. So these are the demo units that were at GameStop or Babbage's or wherever that you could demo out this game. And this game was only distributed to stores. So let's say there's 1,000 stores in North America. There's only 1,000 carts then of this one game. Whereas there's 100,000 carts that were made of the actual physical game. Well, what do you think is more rare then? It's a not for resale cart. So when I was buying these, literally, they might have been a few dollars more than the actual original cartridge itself. I went for the not for resale ones because I wanted that rare thing. And I'm like, why are these almost similar in pricing? I don't know, but I bought them and I bought a lot of them and I have a variety of them. And now recently people are realizing that these are rare and they want them. And they've increased in price like by quadruple. So it's hard to like find a good deal on them. And some you can, but like do your research too, because some of them aren't valuable in any sense. Like there's a shit ton of DS ones and 3DS ones that say not for resale on them. They handed them out like candy to GameStops and stuff, but they might not even be of value because it's only a minute and a half of the game, or it's only like the first chapter of the game. It's not the full thing. Whereas like Minish Cap, the one that I have, is not for resale and it's the full game. On the contrary of what I just said, they have another one that's not for resale that's demoed differently. The label is a little bit different. You can tell that it's a little bit different. It's only 30 minutes of the game, but that one's actually more valuable than the one that I have, because they distributed it way less. So just do your research, find out like what's valuable, what's not when it comes to that.
That is, I think, the Bible of buying and selling video games is just do your research.
Just do your research,
and that's a very important piece. And it doesn't just mean pull up price charting and wipe your hands and say, I'm done. Like that's also not the word either. Like you have to look. You have to go to eBay Solds, maybe look at GameStop, what they're selling it for.
Yeah.
Like compare and contrast other retailers. What are they selling it for? What's the trade-in value? Look at all the angles before you decide on your price and say, okay, I think this is fair. This is what I want to charge. This is the margin that I'm making on it, because that's also a big deal. How much did you pay for this item? If you bought that not for resale cart for $40 and it's selling for $50, are you willing to make a $10 profit and say I'm good with that, or do you want to hold on to it, and wait another 5 years and say, okay, now we can make a $50 profit off of it,
which I'll get into later, but
we'll
sure.
talk about that. But like these are the things where is your margin worth it? Are you comfortable with where you're at? Like after you've done this research, are these things good? Like you can buy for tomorrow, but maybe it's not tomorrow yet. You know,
Yes.
so you have to kind of know when tomorrow hits too. That's the other thing that we'll talk about later.
And at the same time, buy for yourself.
Absolutely.
Buy what you want and buy what you like, because you might want to sell it later. Don't buy what you think you can sell tomorrow either. Buy what you like, because it will probably turn out good and be more valuable from the time that you bought it.
Yeah, I agree. I have only recently just started buying lots in the fact that I might not be interested in anything of it, just purely for stock. But that's because I have a business of it now.
And you're selling out.
Right.
Yeah.
So like before, I would only buy a lot if I was interested in a game or a controller or a system or whatever it was. If it wasn't in that picture, like if it was a PlayStation 1 lot and I wasn't interested in any of the games, but it was a good price, I would have moved on. You know what I mean? Like I would have said, I don't need it. I'm just going to buy this one over here because it has the Crash Bandicoot game I don't have or whatever. You know, like I was buying purely for me. But now I would be like, oh, that's a good deal on that lot. I can take these games and turn them around in my booth and sell them. And that's good stock for me. So that's kind of, I had to shift gears, but I still primarily focus on, oh, is there anything in here I would like? Because
you should.
If you don't focus on yourself, then you're just going to burn yourself out on it. It's not going to be worth it to you. You're going to have no ties to this, and you're just going to have a shit ton of video games, and you're going to be like buying and selling, and then you'll be like, what am I getting out of it?
Yeah. So I never got into selling video games until I realized I needed to sell video games to support the hobby of buying video games.
Yep.
And to support getting rid of stuff that I didn't really care about on my 3 little shelves to make room for the stuff that I do want to play. You know, I don't want to have such surplus, which I already do. Like, I don't want to talk about the closets that I have of video games right now. And like my eBay room also that's filled with video games as well, that's up for sale. Like, I want to focus on my shelf. I want to make sure my shelf is curated, and I want to make sure that it's the top notch games. Whereas like Cody was here 2 weekends ago, and he was like, "Bo, you have such amazing games on these shelves." And I'm like, I appreciate that. Like, they are crazy, weird games that you really don't hear about that often. Not all of them, you know, but there are some like really weird, obscure titles because I've curated that. Those are the games that I want, you know? Either way. So on another note, for a system that hardly anyone is collecting for, cough, Wii U, cough. I wrote this down. Even the Wii, PS3, Xbox 360 are all affordable options to like buy right now. If you're just looking to buy to like save/hoard until the prices go up, because most likely they will. Those are like awesome options to buy for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm buying a lot of Wii U games because I know that the prices are going to go up, because there wasn't that many Wii U console sales. So there couldn't be that many Wii U video games that were actually manufactured. Like, there's only, I think, like 170 titles to begin with. So try to buy as many as you can. Right now, they're brand new ones that are cheaper than the ones that are pre-owned on eBay, which is crazy to think about. You know, like, open copies are worth more than brand new ones. Buy the brand new ones. Buy a couple of them. You know, hold on to them for a little bit, and you'll be able to easily double your money, I feel like, in a year or two. But don't hold me to it.
The Wii U could pan out like the Virtual Boy did.
That's what I'm thinking.
If you look at the Virtual Boy, everybody's like, oh, that system was terrible. And it has, 17, 14 games? 12 games. And they're hella expensive. I mean, not all of them, but, you know, look at Jack Bros. Like, nobody's out there buying Jack Bros, for funsies. They're buying it because it's a rare game.
Yeah.
And they're going for a full Virtual Boy set or whatever, have you. I don't know. I don't know if anybody really has any nostalgia for Jack Bros. I don't know.
It's a game that I've actually wanted before I even owned a Virtual Boy. I still don't own a Virtual Boy, but it's an Atlas game, and I love Atlas.
Yeah. Well, yes. And that's a whole other topic, is buying from things that sell well.
Yes. Let's just say that, because that's something I didn't write down, is buy from manufacturers that increase in price.
And there are a couple of them.
Atlas would be one of them.
That's the biggest one I can think of.
So Atlas made Persona 5. They made all the Persona games. They made Amazing Tater on the Game Boy, which is a $450 cartridge last time I checked. It's probably a lot more than that. What's the other one? Spud's Adventure, which is like $600.
Potato games, man.
Potato fucking games.
Damn.
But it's because it's from a manufacturer or a distributor named Atlas. They make small amounts of games that are actually good quality games. And some of the games they don't even make, they just distribute it. So it's a Japanese game that's coming to America. They get translators and then they produce it for American audience.
Yeah.
What's another one? I can't think of it on the top of my head, but they did a lot for Sega Saturn and PS1. It's they made Alundra. Oh man.
I don't know exactly what you're thinking, but I know I just picked up an Atlas game at the thrift store the other day.
Well, you tell me then.
I picked up Christine for the PS3.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great title.
So, like, that's, again, we were talking about how the Xbox and the PS3 are a very affordable thing to buy right now. But it's also, like, you can look at it, and I mean, I bought the game for, what, $3.99 or something at the Goodwill, and that game's worth $10. Yeah, I can put it on eBay, and it'll probably sell for $10, and I'll be fine with making those couple bucks quick now because I don't really, I'm not going to sit on it because I don't really want to. But I could also put that on my shelf and sit on that game for another 5 years. And I bet you it'd be a $20, $30 game, once the PS3 kind of trickles out in the next couple of years and people start wanting to, I guess, collect for it or, really get into it. Because there are people collecting for it now. I'm not saying there aren't.
Oh, yeah.
I just think that, like, give it a couple years when it's really out of production and you don't see that many games out there anymore for it. And then people will be like, oh, I really want that PS3 game I had a couple years ago. That was really good.
Yep.
And the price is going to go up.
Yeah. So what I was saying is another distributor of video games like Atlas is Working Designs.
Yes.
Working Design titles are so expensive. If you look at any Sega Saturn JRPG, they are Working Designs that brought it from Japan to America. And we're talking hundreds and hundreds of dollars for any of the game titles.
Mm-hmm.
They also distributed a lot of PS1, PS2 titles as well. Maybe even Dreamcast. But yeah, just see what the games that you like, see who distributed it, like who was the manufacturer of it. Like you can just read it off the label of the case and then follow what games that they might have made and see maybe the ratings on those games. Like how do people like them? Are people talking about them? Should I buy this game from them? See if you like it. If you do like it, maybe that's a good game to invest in, that just buy one copy and see the value of it change, over time.
And kind of on that is in the newer age, we have things like limited run and super rare games and those physical copies that are coming out now. A lot of people are buying and you can see the price jump within a month of it coming out. So I can't imagine. I mean, it hasn't been around long enough to be able to say definitively like, oh yeah, they're going to quintuple in price in 2 years or whatever, but I can definitely say that limited run and super rare games and those kind of physical releases are something that's going to be rare in the future. So if you have a copy of a game like that and you haven't opened it or, you don't plan on playing it, but you somehow acquired it, like hold on to it, just wait. And I think it's going to probably turn around and be quite a profit.
Yeah. So not every limited run game will be worth
not every
more money. Some games aren't worth more money. Some games you might actually lose money on. Not usually though. Usually you'll probably just, break profit, but some of the games are worth a lot of money when it comes to limited run games. But let me get into another thing and I'll go back to that. Buy the game that you love, not necessarily the ones that are popular right now. So I have always gloated about Katamari and Klonoa games. And the prices for those games have been going up gradually because more people are realizing how great these games are. So think about a franchise that you love and not that people are talking about. It's probably a great game and people just don't really know about it yet. So think about the games that you love. On the other hand, there are super popular games out there right now that everyone is playing and talking about, which would be a great investment in the long haul to buy sealed when the game is still new and on shelves. Zelda games would be a good example of this. Generally speaking, all Zelda games are good, right?
Yeah.
Most people have nostalgia for them, depending when they came out. So when it comes to selling a Zelda title, you generally profit from the sale if you purchase the game a year ago at market value. With Zelda titles that are sealed and new, well, let's look at eBay.
Okay. Let's look at eBay.
So I did a few of these. I didn't go like way back and I didn't go very new. But Wind Waker, new for the GameCube, goes for $200 to $300. You could have bought that at $60 10 years ago. Right. Was it 10 years ago? Was it longer? Probably
it was
longer.
Way longer than 10 years ago,
right.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Twilight Princess goes for around the same, $200 to $300 sealed. And with the sealed market as well, people are buying those games now sealed because they want to get them. Oh, what's it called?
Graded.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's wild that that's like a trend that's happening.
It's such a big trend.
But I'm not surprised by it because everything else has been graded. So why wouldn't video games be graded?
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally agree. If you can shell out the $60 and you're comfortable with sitting on a copy of a game sealed for, I don't know, 5 to 10 years and then pulling it back out and being like,
Well, especially like when it comes to our hobby where it's keeping games on your shelf. Right. We're not necessarily touching or playing all these games. We're just keeping them on a shelf, displaying them. So you're keeping them in great condition. And then by the time that you want to either sell it or grade it or whatever, let's say 10 years down the road, it's always been on your shelf. It's still pristine, unless you moved a bunch of times and it got damaged in the move.
Or your kid or your dog decided to have some lunch on it.
Yeah, but if it's in a shelf and it's guarded by other games, hopefully your dog isn't like a pick and choose type of dog where it's like, I want to snack on these 5 games.
My dog's very picky, only likes sealed games. Yeah. The crispiness of the outer layer.
Hate that. I love dogs, but fuck that dog. So yeah, Majora's Mask new. If you still have that new for the N64, that goes between $400 and $500 depending on condition. Ocarina of Time goes for $300 to $1,000, depending on condition and if it's collector's edition. I didn't go any more into it, but yeah, I mean, the original Zelda, I believe, sold for thousands of dollars sealed because that's where the sealed community is going to right now is Nintendo. Now they're doing Super Nintendo and they're eventually getting into GameCube and stuff. But yeah, and N64. It's just crazy. The market is so crazy right now, and it makes you want to think, is it time to sell some of my collection for better things?
Yes.
All right, here's my number 3. Unless it's your favorite game or you are set collecting, which set collecting is like, I want every Zelda game. That's my set. Like you can choose any type of set. Like I want every Super Nintendo JRPG. That'd be like a set that you make up in your mind. Unless you're set collecting, if you can emulate it, sell it. If it's worth a pretty penny. I was going for a complete in-box Pokemon set for the Game Boy to Game Boy Advance and only needed a few more. But once I saw prices skyrocket during the pandemic, it made me realize it was time to sell what I have and not buy any more because those games are hard to find complete in the wild at a reasonable price. And I'd rather have $250 for Pokemon Emerald than spend $250 for Pokemon Yellow, right?
Sure, I agree. At some point, you have to draw a line in the sand and say, it's not worth it for me to do this set, or if that you can emulate. Because sometimes if you truly are collecting because you love it and you want to play it, then there it is. You have it already. Like you can emulate it. But if you are collecting because you have a nostalgia for, I don't know, the box or, like that was a copy you had as a kid, like, I'm not discounting anybody who's collecting those kind of things for those reasons. You can set collect all you want and have your set in your mind and be done with it. Like, go for it. But I can tell you, if I was not emotionally attached to it, like you are saying you weren't, I would definitely be in the same boat and say, you know what, it might be just time to flip that and just say, I'm done with this set. I don't think I want to do that anymore because it's just too much. And
I was emotionally attached to it because I loved Pokemon growing up, but I also had all the cartridges already. So I was going for a complete set, like complete in box. And I think I needed like 3 or 4 left in the set. And when the pandemic happened and I saw these prices go from when I was buying them at $60 complete at conventions, maybe the most I spent was like $80, and now I can sell the ones that I have for $200 to $250. I'm like, that's great profit. Like, this is the time to sell it, right?
Right.
Because you also have to ask yourself, is it going to go up anymore?
Right. And that's where you have the infamous bubble conversation.
Yes.
And that is, do we want to get into the bubble?
We can if you want to, or we can keep going for a little.
We'll get into the bubble later.
Okay.
We can circle back.
Yeah. And I might repeat myself on some of these. I know I've already done that.
I feel like a lot of this stuff, it's almost like you're talking in circles because so many things link together.
Yes.
And they coincide.
Yes. And I don't really edit myself while talking. And that's what Sam's for. So thank you, Sam, for editing this podcast.
Yay, Sam.
So here's another one. If the price is right on a certain game, buy more than 1 copy, 1 to keep and 1 to sell. I'd only do this if you can afford to do it, and only do it for brand new games that have limited quantities or super cheap but good. Let me explain. One of the more recent purchases I did this to was V-Blank's Shakedown Hawaii for the Wii U. They released 3,000 copies of the standard edition and 3,000 copies of the special edition. The special edition was only $5 more, but the only difference was that it came with a digital download of the soundtrack and different cover art. Standard edition was only $25, and I bought 5 of them for $125 with free shipping. There was no tax either, which was awesome. Crazy good deal for the last Wii U game. I've only sold 1 so far, and I sold that copy for $60. So I made $35 profit off that one game. I'll be holding on to the other 4 until I see the price spike more, which I know it will because it's the last Wii U game, and there was only 6,000 copies all in all, which is a very limited release. So when it comes to buying that type of stuff, like do your research on new games that are coming out, like games that are coming out for older systems, but make sure that they're official games too, because not all games that are coming out for older systems will be of value either. Like there's games that are coming out like reproduction games or just regular games that are being made for like the Sega Genesis, that's like a $30 game for the Sega Genesis, but it might not be the game that holds any value because nobody really wants any Sega Genesis games, right?
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. This is one thing that I don't actually do. I never buy 2 copies.
Okay.
I just, when I buy and I don't sit on things because not only do I have limited space for my collection, I have limited space in my home to store things. So It's kind of like when I get something, I try to move it. And if I just so happen to sit on it for a little while and there it goes, it went up in price, great. But I don't intentionally sit on items. And that's just a personal preference. I don't discount anybody who does it. I don't not support you doing it if you want to. Like, I just personally have never, that's never been my mindset. I always am also a person who tries to not take up, like space that I don't need.
Yeah.
So like that, we were talking about these pre-orders earlier. I would not have been a person who was buying more than 1 pre-order on an item just because I would not morally feel okay taking a space from somebody else, even though I know it's probably a bot or something.
Yes.
That's kind of what mine is.
Yeah. And with this Wii U order for this game, I actually emailed the company before they release it. And I said, hey, is it going to be a problem if I order 5 copies? Like, I want to get some for friends, which was sort of a lie, but we're like, no, that's fine. Like, we don't have a limit on orders. We're just hoping to sell out all 6,000 copies. So I was like, cool, I'll help you buy 5, Right. It's not like a console release where everyone's scrambling. This is an older system. This is a last generation system that only a select few people might be looking for,
Right, exactly.
And then the people that are buying the game on the resale value have the FOMO to buy it because they're like, fuck, I missed out. I got to buy it now while it's still affordable because eventually it's going to be $100 game. easily.
Oh yeah, and I mean, if you FOMO and you buy a game, it was $30 and you buy it for $60. That's not bad if you project it to be a very rare game where it's going to be $100 or something. You know, like that FOMO might pay off for you. You just sometimes have to bite the bullet on things.
Or you mess up like I've done before, where I heard about Hollow Knight. I did research on Hollow Knight. I was like, damn, this game sounds great. Wow, there's a limited release from Limited Run. I'm like, damn, they already did it. I can't get it anymore. And I only did research on eBay and I found a copy for like $45-$50. And I was like, all right, that sounds reasonable. It was probably 30. Cool, bought it. Then I go to Best Buy a week later and I see copies there for $30. And I'm like, damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
You know,
we've all done it.
So it's all about doing research and like cross-checking everywhere, because there's more than just one website where you can buy things from. You know, like I'm a huge eBay fanatic, so I always check there. But, you know, since that Hollow Knight thing, like I hate being gypped $15. You know, I could have bought it new. Instead, I bought it used for $45.
Mm-hmm.
But I could have bought it new for $15 less. So just constantly check like everywhere. Just see where it could be. It's as simple as doing a Google search and not just an eBay search off that.
Right. Again, do your research, everybody. It's just, I think that's like the theme of this whole rounding conversation. It's just make sure you look at all angles, because there's so many different retailers and so many different websites that can provide you with so much information. And I think that's why I love this hobby, is because there is so many avenues to go to get your information. And it's not just one straightforward shot that says, okay, this is the end, this is the price, and that's all, you know.
And there's so many avenues to buy and sell from.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially like on the second market as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like OfferUp, Blacko, Craigslist. Like nobody uses Craigslist anymore. Like my boss said that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm still finding deals on Craigslist. And that's where I found my World of Nintendo fucking cabinet that I traded J-Bam for my Dreamcast kiosk. So that was only a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I don't personally use Craigslist because
I got it on the fucking lockdown.
Yeah, you got it on the lockdown here. No, I don't use Craigslist just because I don't, as a woman, I don't feel as
Safe.
comfortable with that venue.
Yeah.
And that's just, again, all personal preferences. Not to say that I'm not prepared when I go to other meetups, you know, if I got it on OfferUp or on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. Not to say that I'm not like pepper spray ready, but like, you know, I feel more comfortable because there's a profile, there's ratings, there's things like that. Whereas Craigslist, it's just like you're sending an email into the void and you're hoping the void responds back, and you don't know what the void is and you don't know what the void looks like. And you don't know if the void has ever sold anything on Craigslist before. So that's kind of why I like the other ones, just because it makes me feel a little safer when I go.
Absolutely. But at the same time, I found my best deals on Craigslist.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if I get murdered over trying to pick up a World of Nintendo cabinet, that's the way I go. That's it.
I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I mean,
I want that on my gravestone, actually.
Bury me in the World of Nintendo cabinet.
I want the NWC, you know, label on my gravestone.
I'll get it in the fiber optics.
Yes.
So at night, you'll just be lighting up the whole graveyard.
Oh, I love it. That'd be great. All right. So we've said this before, but constantly look up prices. One of my favorite apps is eBay. I'm constantly looking up games that I own and know that they're rare and sought after, and checking recently sold on them. It's very easy if you have the app. Just look up sold under filter and go to the recently sold under sort. That way you can track the prices of your games, not just by price checking them or price charting website, which is also a great website to check. But price charting doesn't show the condition of video games.
Right.
Whereas eBay, you can actually look at recently sold items, look at the condition that they were in, and be like, whoa, this is a complete in-box Pokemon Gold that was trashed for $80. But this other one sold for $250. It's pristine. So where do you put yours in? You know, does yours have a little dent? Maybe it's $200 then, you know, instead of $250. Yeah. But it's a great source. So another thing that I want to say, if the price is right to you, then I say sell it. For me personally, a profit is a profit. So if I am making $5 to $100 off of a game, I will be happy. But consider your time as money as well.
That is huge.
It takes time to research prices. It takes time to list games, and it takes time and money to ship out the game.
And it takes your time and your effort to find it in the first place.
Yes.
Don't forget that your time, your Saturday morning at the yard sale, you're scrolling Facebook Marketplace. That is your time. It is valuable.
It really is. It's the most valuable thing, honestly. If I bought a game for $100, I wouldn't be happy on making $5 profit. Personally, I'd want close to a 50% return, which would be $50 profit after fees and shipping on a $100 game. But if I bought a huge lot of games for $100, and let's say there was one expensive game in that lot that sold for $150, well, then I made my money back plus what I would want to get. And then all the other games are all profit and can be sold for whatever then.
Yeah. And that's I think the most common way about how I sell is I'll buy, sell, piece out and realize what I need to sell to make back what I spent. And after that, then I can just count all as profit. And that is, I think, my favorite way to do it. Because looking at a lot, I can already tell what my heavy hitters are going to be, what my best sellers are going to be out of that lot. It could be 3 Mario games. Boom, I'm picking it up because I know I'm going to make it right back there. And then all these other, games that are on the side, that's all going to be profit. Yeah, it could be $3. It could be $5. It could be $10 each. But it's profit. Yeah. And you've made your money back on those 3 big titles.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just knowing what's going to sell, what's everybody looking for. It's always Mario. It's always Zelda. It's always the big friendly, I don't know, faces of the companies, Spyro,
it's
Crash.
It's popular things. And that's one of the last things that I wanted to say was do your research when buying used lots. Know the prices of what you're getting and make sure there are a few standout games that you make your money back. A lot of cheaper or common games don't sell, unfortunately. People want the high value rare games. So make sure that in that lot of used video games, there is that one standout game that one or, multiples that pay for that lot. And then there's a bunch of other ones that you can slowly sell and make more profit from, right?
Yeah, for example, if I buy a lot of PS2 games, PS2 sells, but it sells, I feel like, slower than a lot of other, it would sell slower than N64, etc. So when I buy PS2 games, if I'm looking at a lot, it's got to have Crash. It's got to have, I don't know, Tekken. It's got to have maybe one of a Silent Hill or something, something that is going to catch my eye like that I know could be the price of the lot itself or could chunk most of the lot. I'm fine if I pay $40 and there's 6 games and 3 of them are Crash games. You know what I mean? Because there's $30 right there if you think about it. And then the other games are just going to be profit, and they could be a filler title. They could be some weird platformer or I don't know, a couple sports titles or whatever. But I will make that back. And then I have these other titles to sell off as profit and make a couple extra bucks. For me, that's stock. So I'm okay with that. But for anybody else, you might want more of a return. So you might want, I don't know, more more games for your money. So if you get 6 different titles, that would be great. And then you have, I don't know, 10 other titles that aren't so great, and you get it for a good deal. Let's just do it. Dive in. If it catches your eye, dive in.
Yeah. And know, honestly, what certain genres bring to the table. If you know that horror on the PS2 is the most hottest fucking thing out there. Yeah. Because I just looked up a game right now, Kuon. Yeah. You know how much Kuon goes for?
A lot.
Yes.
Jeez, last time I think I looked at it, it was 200.
Guess again.
400.
I'm going to go to sold and I'm going to go to sort and date recent first. Guess the most recent one. Pre-owned.
I don't know, man.
$800, $5 shipping.
What?
Pre-owned.
Oh, God.
All right.
Yeah.
Next one, pre-owned, $825, free shipping. Next one, $850, free shipping.
Yeah, that's insane.
Insane, $750.
I mean, you can hear me on here saying
$1,000 pre-owned on September 7th.
I wonder if it actually sold for that. You can hear me on here though saying this is my guess. The last time I looked it up, these are like pre-pandemic prices I was talking about. Like maybe the last time I looked up Kuon prices was like 2 years ago. You know, I don't know, because I'm not always, I can't tell you that I am a professional. I am just a wealth of knowledge on every price ever. I can't tell you that, but I can tell you that I know that the game is worth money. And then I will be surprised when I open it up and be like, oh, wow, that's a lot more than I thought.
Yeah. So I would say, you know, horror games more so came out on like 3D based systems. So like PS1 and up, essentially. I mean, there were horror games sort of for 16-bit systems, but not really. So PS1 and up, if you see a horror game, it's probably worth money.
Yeah, I will
do your research on that one
I'll
first.
give you an asterisk on that because a lot of the horror titles for PS3 and 360 aren't at that point yet.
Yes.
Like Resident Evils are still like $5 and stuff like that on the PS3 and 360.
And Resident Evils are like the most common horror game. Let's put it that way. PS2 has a lot of obscure titles. Another thing would be JRPGs. If you can tell that it's a JRPG for some reason, like if you just look up the title, you know, if you're looking up the title, you might as well look up the price as well. But yeah, just look up the lots that you might see in your local area and be like, is this worth it? You know, to me. But if there's a game that like one game that surpasses the value that the person wants for the lot, fucking buy it.
Do it. Yeah.
Just fucking do it. And then everything else is extra, you know?
It doesn't matter if it's 15 sports games, it's going to be profit.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah. Just get it.
Yeah. The other thing, so I didn't realize this until the other day. I went to a couple thrift stores on Monday when I had off, and I found these couple games for the Kinect, and I had never seen them before.
Yeah, I saw on your stores.
I'd never seen them before. Like, I'd never seen them in the wild or anything. Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And MLB Nicktoons. They're like $10 to $15 games on the 360, which, I mean, for that, it's a higher end game on that system. Like, and so I was surprised because I was like, I looked these games up because I'd never seen them before. I was like, I wonder if these are shit or if they're actually, because like Kinect was, I feel like kind of like a failure for Microsoft a little bit. Like, I don't think it caught on as well as they wanted it to. So some of these games in the future might be a little rare when people start collecting for the 360, like this obscure MLB Nicktoons game or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
and honestly, the weird stuff like Connect might be like, you know, tomorrow's light gun game in the sense where it's like people have the space and they're like, yeah, I want to fucking dance with Nicktoons or whatever, you know, like we just don't know yet. Like that might be the thing that people fucking get their rocks off to. Right.
And I'll probably list it on eBay and make like $10 off of it, which I'm okay with right now. Like I'm fine with that. But I'm sure.
How much did you spend on it?
They were like $5 each or something.
Exactly. So if you make $10 off of it, that's a great fucking profit value.
Right. I'm not concerned about it, but like I could potentially hold on to them.
Yes.
And then in 5 years, maybe Connect is a little bit more popular.
Or maybe not.
Or maybe not. I don't know. But these are weird titles for this weird peripheral. And boom, you know, I found them for a good price. And so I don't know. It's not necessarily all just like these predictable like horror genre stuff, you know, like or JRPGs. Sometimes it's just like a little hidden pocket of
sometimes it's just nice to find small profit.
Yeah.
Like I literally just went to Second and Charles. You might have saw my story or not.
I saw that.
There was a PS1 sealed copy.
They priced it for a CIB. They didn't price it for sealed. I'll tell you that.
Well, it was sealed, new, Kiss pinball. And then it was also in a clamshell case, right?
Yeah.
And it was $4.97. And then when I went up to the register, he was like, you want 10% off? I'm like, of course I want 10% off. What does it take? You know? And he's like, well, you got to send this text to this. I'm like, are they going to text me a bunch? And he's like, no. And I'm like, all right, then after that, what? And he's like, they're going to email you. And I'm like, so like I gave him an email to get like my secondary email that doesn't really matter. So I got it. I got it 10% off. It's $4.47 or something I spent. I was like, this is cool. I looked up prices though beforehand and it was only like not that many sold brand new, right? Like maybe 2 in the past 2 months and they sold for like $15 or less, right? And I'm like, either way, it's a brand new PS1 game. I'm going to buy it. I posted it up for $29.99 plus $5 shipping.
Mm-hmm.
And it sold in minutes.
Dang.
So why?
That's crazy.
Why? Why do you think?
Because of clamshell.
Do you think so? Because
Yeah.
I think that clamshell was just like a generic clamshell.
Right, but there was a couple of PS1 titles that came in this like big plastic clamshell, and a lot of them were like
from
greatest-
a certain store or what?
No, there were like a couple like greatest hits. It would be like a green back, and
But that all it was a clear fucking
No,
thing,
I know
like from Costco or something like.
yeah, no, I remember getting games from Costco as a kid, and they came in the big old. I've seen them sell online, but they had like they were encased in like this outer shell, and then it went down, and it was like a handle almost. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I've seen them sell like online with that on it for more, and it's still sealed. But I would assume it's because the clamshell was there. But I've caught them slipping before too. A couple of years ago, they had a Tommy Hilfiger Game Boy Advance or a Game Boy Color for $30.
Nice. Yeah,
I still have it. Yep.
Yeah.
That was obviously for the personal collection. And it came with one of those big old like attachments on it too. It wasn't just the system itself.
For the people that don't have Second and Charles by their house, it's a thrift store in a mall.
Yeah. It's like a reselling.
It's a resell. It's a thrift store.
But it's for specifically like video games and
books and movies
and music. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
records. Vinyl records.
Vinyl records. I found a good couple of records there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
they have good prices.
They have comics. Like it's just like a general geekery.
I was just happy to find a sealed PS1 game for $5. So here's another good advice. You find a sealed old video game, for the most part, if it's sealed and it's old, buy it. For the most part. PS1 is old enough.
I would say buy it. Yeah.
Yeah. PS2 I would buy too. PS3 maybe not, depending on the game. Depends on the game.
Well, this summer I found a yard sale and I bought a sealed 360 game. I don't remember what I got all the games for. Oh, I think I got I got a big stack of 360 games for like $20, and I ended up selling the one game sealed was $20.
Nice.
So then the rest of the lot of 19 games was profit. Like we talked about that. But I didn't know it was sealed until I went up and looked through them. Like he was like, "Oh yeah, that box is $20 or whatever," and I just see a bunch of green cases, and then started flipping through and saw it was sealed.
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of thing. Again, there's your eye catcher. I don't even know what game it is yet. I just know it's sealed, and then I pick it up, realize it's a decent game, and then I can make a couple bucks off of it.
Yeah. So when it comes to sealed games, that's a big fucking market right now. If you have a sealed game that's retro, PS2 and under, check the price and keep checking the price. Because for instance, I'm pretty sure I've said it on this podcast, but maybe just in passing. I know I've said it on Rated G for Gamers podcast. Go Hypergrind.
Yeah.
I sold for $750 sealed. The only way that I sold that game for $750 sealed was because I had it up for $1,000. Just randomly. I was like, this is way overpriced. I'm just putting it up on eBay for $1,000. It's the only one that's up, that's new and sealed. Let me see. Someone bought it from me. I had it for $9.99, and they're like, "Oh, I thought it said $6.99." And I was like, "No." And they're like, "I'll buy it for $6.99." I said, "No, I'm not ready to sell it for that price, you know." And they're like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." So I waited to relist it. So I still had the listing up. It's still complete. It was still in my collection, and I waited, and I kept watching because I had a notification for new sealed Go Hypergrinds for the GameCube. And one came up, and the guy actually put it up as auction, which was crazy for a new sealed game that goes for a lot of money, because usually auctions on eBay do not go for as much as buy it nows. So I'm watching it. It has 10 minutes left in it. It's at $552. I'm like, fuck, I'm listing mine right now for $1,000 because this might go up a lot of money, but I might get a lot of money for mine too from that FOMO effect where people are like, I don't get this one, I'm gonna get this one, you know? So I list mine at 10 minutes. Sure enough, it popped up on someone's, and he offered me $750, which is 25% off of what I was asking for, but way more than what any of them went for, you know? So I was like, let me wait. There's only 9 minutes left now on this auction at $552. Well, guess what? That $552 auction, brand new sealed of the game that I had, only went for $552 at the end of the auction. Nobody bidded it up. So I said, except for that 750. And I was shocked. They bought it. They paid for it right away, and they were so happy about it. And I sealed that up in 2 different boxes with so much bubble wrap. I was like, I got to make sure that this game goes to this guy so safely. And he was a comic book collector that has a lot of comic book collecting money, and a lot of the new video games are being bought from comic book collectors because they see the value in it. They see that this trend is now going into video games, not comic books anymore. And they want to grade them. They want to grade the new ones. They don't want them to be open. They don't want them to be touched. And that's okay, whatever. But it's driving the prices up. Either way, I got my 750 because I was watching the auctions that were going on for that exact game that I had that I knew was rarer than any other game that I owned. So I made the most money ever off of a game nobody made that amount from. $750 fucking dollars for a fucking video game. One fucking video game.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy.
It is crazy. So if you have a rare game that's sealed, because only sealed new video games will ever reach that price, keep checking the prices and work the market the way that I did on that. You know, check. Like I just got a Xenogears 3, Xenosaga 3 for the PS2. One of them. It was $200 when I got it for $60. I checked it the other day. I'm like, do I want to do a raffle for this? Do I want to sell it on eBay? It's now down to $160, the lowest one on eBay, because there's 10 different auctions for it. When all those sell, if they do, or people take them off or whatever, and you're the only one left, you can set your price in. So if you have that rare game that nobody has on eBay, set your fucking price. Don't just sell because everyone else is selling. Wait until you have the only one or one of two. If it's one of two, set yours a couple dollars less than the other guys if it's the same exact quality and quantity.
Patience.
Yes.
It's the moral of the whole thing. Patience.
Virtue and fucking research your shit.
Patience and research your shit.
Yeah.
That's basically all it boils down to. And honestly, there's so many people that do this, and it's not just in video games. I've been talking with one of the vendors that I share a space with, and he does t-shirts. It's the same thing. He does vintage t-shirts, and you wouldn't believe the shit he can get and flip for t-shirts. He's making hundreds and hundreds of dollars off of one t-shirt. It's insane. I've learned so much.
I sold a Grateful Dead Jerry Garcia shirt for $100. It had so many rips and stains in it. Oh my God, I can
believe it.
It probably the next person that would put it on after I wore it, it would have just like fell off of them. Right. It was that ripped up. It was that bad. But like I wrote a nice description on eBay being like, this went through a lot of people. It was handed down since Jerry died. It's seen a lot of festivals. It's seen a lot of stages and yards and all this. And someone bought it right away for $100. I was like, fuck, should I have priced it up more?
Yeah,
like,
probably.
Yeah. You know, like it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, there's the vintage shirt game is huge right now. I've learned a lot about that. I did Funko Pops for a while. Same thing. You want to sell a Funko Pop, that's fine. But if you want to do it for profit, you've got to buy the ones that are in limited numbers. They make limited runs of those. If there's only 3,000 made of this one, then that's obviously the one that you want to buy and resell because that's going to be rare. You know, we already know there's only 3,000 on the market, you know, like obviously going to be a pretty rare piece. And it transcends this hobby. If you are buying and selling within a hobby, like you have to know what you're doing. So again, look up your shit and stay poised on your eBay page because that's going to tell you a lot about what's going on.
It's my favorite app is eBay and like checking used prices. Like I have also GamerEye, which I don't have all my video games uploaded to. I have
that too.
The Wii U games because I eventually want to go for a full Wii U set, mainly because it's so cheap and especially like buying new Wii U games. It's crazy. Like look up prices right now. You'd be shocked. And like going to something similar that Cody said last podcast, like, oh, Hello Kitty, stupid expensive game for the Wii U. Well, no, it's not anymore because it was released for the Switch. So it dropped the price down so much. So that's the time now to buy for the Wii U version because it will go back up in price because it's still a rare game for the Wii U.
Right. I completely agree. I'm seeing a lot of these games with re-releases. It can go one of two ways. The price can dunk and you can just be sitting on this game and it's now less than it was 2 weeks ago before the re-release came out, like a remaster. or people want those original games. They like, you remember when Crash Bandicoot, the trilogy came out on PS4 and stuff like that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, people were buying Crash Bandicoot games left and right.
Yep.
And now, and I'm not saying that they're not, but the price went back to a normal plateau.
And that was the same thing with Animal Crossing, though, too.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Same thing at the beginning when Animal Crossing came out, at the beginning of the pandemic. I think that was also just at the beginning of the pandemic thing, too. But the price skyrocketed, and now we're kind of easing back down on it. I'm seeing it's not as much anymore. It's not $100 game. It's like, what, like 50 or something now.
Yeah.
So it's wild to watch it jump, and it's hard to say like, yeah, it's going to jump and it's going to stay there, or it's going to duck back where it was or be less than it was. It's a gamble. It's like the stock market, you know, it's like playing any of the table games or any of the slot machines at the casino. You don't know what you're going to get out of it, but you can try your best to make an educated guess on where you're going to land.
So the more research that you do on the games that you own, the better off you will be when it comes to the time selling it. And honestly, it's good to look up prices for the things that you own, just to see like, oh, this is way more than I bought it for.
It's satisfying.
And I'm not playing it anymore.
Yeah.
Might as well sell it and make $100.
Satisfying. I also advocate looking up the prices, or even using GameEye or CLZ to keep track of what you have, because God forbid anything happens to your home or your collection. You want to know what you have and a value, and you want to make sure that that kind of stuff, if you have enough of it, you want to make sure it's insured. And this is adult talk, but like, for real, make sure that your stuff is protected in case anything happens, because the last thing you want is for your beloved stuff to somehow be ruined or taken, and you have no way to recoup it because you didn't know how much you had. Yeah. So make sure that you are keeping track of your stuff, and, you know, check in on your prices, even if you're not selling. GameEye has, and I think CLZ has, like a little tracker that tells you an approximate number. It's not dead on, but like, it gives you an idea. Like, this game is worth this much. And that's good to know. It's good to just see what you have and how much you have. So, you know, when it comes time to either think about selling some stuff, you can start there and be like, this is one of my higher games and I'm not playing it. And then go from there and be like, that is a game that I want to look into more on selling.
Yeah.
And start your research. So let's talk about everybody's favorite topic, which is the bubble around the retro gaming community, around the retro gaming, collecting, pricing, all of this. Do you think this bubble is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, or do you think this bubble is on its way to popping now?
I think it's going to burst.
Do you think it's going to burst now?
I think it's going to burst hard and fast, and we don't know exactly when. And I don't want to be the person that predicts anything, essentially, because I don't know. I'm not a psychic.
Weird.
But I think things trend, essentially, when it comes to politics, when it comes to worldly things like the pandemic. Mm-hmm. We saw prices go up, which was surprising. You would think prices would go down because people want to get rid of their things to get food and supplies. But actually, we had a surplus of money increase, which made us buy things that we don't necessarily need to survive. So we don't know what will happen, you know, come November, come December, politics wise. And I don't necessarily want to bring this podcast into that, but the bubble might burst then, you know. Mm-hmm. Shit might fucking hit the fan if things go fucking bad. Yeah,
I don't disagree.
And a lot of people are predicting that things might go bad no matter what, no matter if it goes left, no matter if it goes right. Like, it might hit the fan. So just talking about video games itself, what will drive prices down where that bubble will pop is that people get scared about certain situations and people start selling their valuables. So if everyone starts selling their Mario 64 CIB, all Mario 64 CIBs will go down in value, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense. The only reason why prices are up on all these fucking video games is that everyone's hoarding their video games. Nobody wants to sell them because everyone's enjoying them and enjoying collecting them. Not necessarily even playing them. They're just enjoying having them and knowing that they're in their collection. You know, that's why Pokemon's up so much. It's insane. Pokemon is one of the most sold video games ever out there. Like all of them, all the Game Boy games were crazily sold. And I'm sure there's so many complete in boxes But if you do any search on any complete in-box Game Boy to Game Boy Advance game, you might only find like 7 of them in all varying conditions. And it's because everyone's fucking hoarding them.
Right. I think right now we're all hoarding a little bit more because we want the entertainment factor. We need the entertainment. We don't know if we're going to go back down to a lockdown at all. We don't know what's going to happen. Like, you're right. We don't know what's going to happen in the next couple months. So everybody's kind of sitting on what they bought and not selling it because they're like, well, I might need more entertainment in the next couple of months. I don't know.
But how many fucking video games can you play on lockdown? Even if you're not doing anything, even if you don't have a job, how many different video games can you actually play at one time?
I don't know, man. That's not a question for me. That's a question for the guy who has the unlimited time and isn't working and is trying to stay sane.
Yeah.
You know, like, how many games can you play? It's up to you. Like, I don't know.
Or how many games can you collect for? And why are you collecting for them? Until shit hits the fan, we don't really know. And prices probably will go up until things hit the fan. If they don't hit the fan and people still want to keep collecting, prices will keep going up probably. Slowly but surely, you know? I think the pandemic really made prices go hard.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. That we've never seen anything like that before and we didn't expect it.
Yeah.
But I think once we get back to some sort of normalcy, we'll see them plateau out and maybe dip down again.
I've seen them dip down already.
Yeah, they are dipping, but we don't know where we're at in the world. So I can't say that this is where they're going to stay because we might be right back in it again in a couple months. You know, we don't know. And then all of a sudden we're back to where we were in March and the prices are skyrocketing again. We don't know. We just don't. So until we get everything sorted, you know, it's a big fucking question mark. The whole market is a big question mark right now, which is so difficult to try to right now predict if you're going to sell some of these things that you want to sell because you don't know if it's going to break tomorrow or you don't know if it's going to go up in 2 months.
Yeah. So check your collection and see what's valuable to you. See what games you might want to keep and might not want to keep. And maybe you want to fucking keep everything. It doesn't matter if there's a pandemic. It doesn't matter if the bubble bursts on prices. Maybe you just want all the video games that you've always owned, and that's fine.
Yeah.
Good for you. Like, great. But for Kelly and I, it's a matter of buying and selling to curate what we want. But there's also a time to think where prices are so high right now, it might be worth selling more of what we own because that bubble might burst.
Yeah. I think if you're a person who's listening to this and you haven't done it yet and would like to dip your toes into buying and selling like we do, or you know you've only sold one thing on eBay or whatever, I think now's a great time to try.
So easy.
Anybody can do it. And, you know, there's plenty of people out there that can help. You know, I would I would definitely help somebody. No, you wouldn't help?
No, I will.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like that's what we're doing now is we're trying to help.
I'm down to give advice to anyone that listens to this podcast for sure. Yeah.
I'm not going to say that what I say is the truth and you go by that.
Nor do I know what the future holds. But
right. But I think that it's definitely, if you want to get into it, it's a good idea, but I would never venture into it blind. Also, on another thing, if you have a significant other or somebody you live with or you share finances with, like a parent or I don't know, you're locked in with a roommate or your significant other, like have a conversation. Hey, I'm thinking about doing this to help supplement my hobby. Like, this is my plan. I'm projecting that I would like to make X amount of profit off of each thing that I sell. You know, like this is what I would like to do. Like spell it out and have a conversation. And then maybe they have some input for you. Like, oh, that sounds like a great idea. You know, I'm definitely here to help you if you need help. You know, like, because many times I've been overwhelmed and I've been packing stuff in a basement from a claim sale for like 2 hours. And Scott's like, let me help you. Like, you know, they might be down to just help you out. If you get overwhelmed, they might be down to go to yard sales with you. It's always great to have another person go out looking, have a set of eyes, you know, or looking on Facebook Marketplace for you or whatever, that kind of stuff. So like, we've talked about sharing your hobby. Share the fact that you are going to do this. Like share the fact that you're going to buy and sell and that your goal is to make some sort of profit off of this so you can continue your collection. Like don't sit and be quiet about it. I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, you can, but I feel like more people would be accepting and helpful of you in your life if you share the fact that you're going to do this. And, you know, who knows, maybe somebody, you know, is like, hey, I have a ton of video games. Would you buy them off of me? And you can give them your price and you go from there. Like we've talked about, that's happened before to us. So like there's plenty of opportunities out there. Just make sure that you air it to the world that you're going to do it.
Exactly.
Just be smart. That's all. Be smart, be safe above all.
Yes, I agree. So with that said, I say we wrap this night up.
Yeah, let's wrap it up.
Cool. Well, thank you guys. We do have a couple sponsors.
We do. First of all, if you need any website hosting, our On Budget Services is helping us with our website hosting. They've been wonderful. They help us with precisely.live and highly recommend them to anybody who needs any website help and things like that. So On Budget Services is our first sponsor, and thank you so much for all that you do for us here at Precisely. And our second sponsor is the Laurel Highlands Pour Tour, which is going on now until 2021 out in Western Pennsylvania. We've got 17 different breweries participating. Go check them out. Go look around. Get your little passport book stamped. Get some free swag for drinking cool beers and checking out the beautiful western side of Pennsylvania. If you would like to help sponsor Precisely, you can hit us up. We have a contact on our webpage, or you can contact us through our Instagram, and we can go from there.
We're actually looking, if you got this far into the podcast, we're looking for guests that might have a certain topic that they want to talk about, or a certain thing that they contribute to the community of gaming. We would love to hear from you. If you have something that you want to talk about and not just gloat about yourself, we would love to hear from you. So give us an email at preciselypod@outlook.com, or just DM us on Precisely Podcasts on Instagram. We would also love to do like a meetup, essentially like a virtual meetup on like Mario Kart or Super Smash Brothers, something like that, where we could all just play some video games together. We don't know exactly what day or what time, but maybe we can do a group chat. So DM us if you have a Nintendo Switch and you want to play Mario Kart. We'll make a separate DM chat for that and set up a time and date, because I would love to chat with all of you live. So we can do that, right? With the Switch, with the app
Switch
and stuff.
Online app. Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
And play some fucking video games.
Oh, yeah. Instead of talking about them all the time.
Yeah.
Listen to us talk about them.
Yeah. Fucking talking about them all the time. I don't fucking play
Talking
'em.
about video games. They don't know anything about video games. Just talk about video games.
Yeah, this was fun though.
No, this is good. What else? We got to plug our merch. It's hoodie season.
It is hoodie
Get
season.
some hoodies. Check out the website, precisely.live.
You can get
that.
hoodies for cheap. We're hardly making any profit, and all the profit is going to new stickers. I think we make like $3 and some change.
Yeah.
Which is going towards stickers.
But the stickers are going to be dope.
Yeah, we want to get holographic stickers. So if you want to help us get holographic stickers, please buy a hoodie.
Yeah, it'll be sweet.
Yeah.
And we'll send them out. It'll be cool.
Yeah.
And make sure that you do a subscribe or a rate on iTunes if you're listening on iTunes.
We never say that actually. So please fucking rate us and review us on iTunes.
It helps us out a lot. Yeah. It'll help us get a little bit noticed, help us get out there a little bit more, and we can reach some more people.
If you listen to this podcast and you've listened to it the full way and you do have an iPhone, please review us on Apple iTunes. It'd mean the world to us. And the next review that I see on the next podcast, we will read it out. So
make it good. Make it real good.
Make it sexual.
I didn't say it. That's all though.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening in. Hopefully we gave you some good advice, and if not, don't listen to us that much. But keep listening in either way. And yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
We out.
We out.